U.S. debt, $33 trillion. Japan, around $14 trillion. Europe's biggest economies, trillions on top of trillions. Almost every country on Earth owes more money than it can realistically pay back. So let's slow down and ask something uncomfortable. If every government is in debt, who is on the other side of that debt? Who is collecting the interest?
At first glance, global debt looks like a problem waiting to explode. Governments borrowing more, budgets stretched thinner, interest payments growing every year. And yet, the system keeps running. Markets still open every morning. Governments still pay salaries. Banks still lend money.
Most people think of debt like a household problem. You borrow money, you pay it back. If you can't, you're in trouble. But countries don't operate like households. Governments don't plan to fully pay off their debt. They never have. Instead, they roll it forward. Old debt gets replaced with new debt. Maturing bonds get refinanced. Interest gets paid with more borrowing. In other words, the debt never really disappears. It becomes permanent. And permanent debt changes the rules of power.
So, when a country borrows money, what is it actually doing? It's selling promises. Those promises are called government bonds. A bond is simple. You give me money today, I'll give you interest every year, and someday I'll pay you back. But here's the key detail most people miss. Governments don't sell these promises to other countries. They sell them to institutions.
The real creditors of the world aren't nations. They are pension funds, insurance companies, investment funds, central banks, and massive asset managers you never vote for. These institutions buy government debt because it's considered safe. Not safe because it will be paid off, safe because the system is designed to protect it. And once debt becomes the foundation of the system, the people who hold that debt gain leverage. Quiet leverage, structural leverage, invisible leverage.
You've probably heard this idea before. America owes China. Europe is owned by foreign governments. That story sounds simple, and it sounds scary, but it's mostly wrong. China doesn't control the United States. Japan doesn't own Europe. Most government debt is held inside the financial system itself, by funds managing retirement money, by banks parking capital, by institutions designed to never stop lending. Flags don't hold power here. Balance sheets do.
And at the center of all of this sits one institution people rarely question: central banks. They don't campaign, they don't debate, they don't explain much, but they quietly decide how money flows through the system. Interest rates go up or down, liquidity appears or disappears, markets calm or panic. Central banks don't own countries, but they decide which debts survive.
Here's where debt turns into real power. As long as a country can refinance its debt, everything feels fine. But the moment refinancing becomes difficult, conditions appear. Budget cuts, austerity, structural reforms. Not because voters demanded them, because creditors require them. Debt doesn't control you when times are good. It controls you when options disappear.
So, does anyone actually own the world? Not in the way movies imagine. There's no single villain, no hidden room, no master switch. Power today is fragmented. It lives in who controls liquidity, who prices risk, who decides when money flows, and when it stops. Ownership isn't about land anymore. It's about leverage.
And here's the risk nobody likes to talk about. This entire system is built on belief. Belief that bonds will be honored. Belief that currencies will hold value. Belief that refinancing will always be possible. Debt only works if confidence survives. Once confidence cracks, everything moves at once.
and systems built on leverage don't bend. They snap.
So, if every country is in debt, and institutions hold the promises, and belief holds the system together, then maybe the real question isn't who owns the world. Maybe the real question is, what happens when the world stops believing?